As I walked out of the theater, laughing and chatting with my friends about the movie's wildest scenes, I suddenly noticed the time. Oh no! Is that the time? I never should have agreed to go to the movies tonight, even if my friends begged me. I have to be home before 9 p.m. or something terrible will happen. Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine. On the surface, I look like a regular teen girl. I'm on the cheer squad and run a study group to help other students with their grades. But the truth is, I'm hiding a big secret. And you're about to see what it is. By day, I look like I have the perfect life. But by night, something crazy happens. As soon as the clock strikes 9 p.m., I transform into a monster. No, I don't grow tentacles or fangs. It's worse than that. Look! My skin swells up like a balloon. My hair looks like I've bathed in grease, and I get this horrible rash all over my body. It's so itchy. The only thing that soothes it is this cream, but it makes me look like a smurf. My condition has impacted my entire life. I can't go to sleepovers or parties, and I've never been on a date. The guy I had a crush on since middle school was Marlon. He was sweet, athletic, and totally my type. But because of the awful condition I live with, I had to turn down his invitation to go out at night, even though my heart screamed yes. Since then, Marlon hasn't looked my way once. Sometimes I feel like life has already decided that happiness just isn't meant for me. This strange condition first appeared during a family picnic when I was 7. One moment I was laughing and playing with kids my age, then suddenly, a burning, uncomfortable sensation started spreading throughout my whole body. Before I could even understand what was happening, I heard screaming. The other kids were crying and backing away from me. My parents rushed over with panic and took me straight to the hospital. From that day on, my life was never peaceful again. My symptoms kept getting worse. They started happening more often, once a day, at completely random times. My parents took me to a well-known dermatologist. After the treatment, the daytime rashes were gone, but then my nighttime symptoms began to show. Since then, I've seen dozens of doctors. All of them seemed puzzled, unsure of what was really happening to me. Every night, I found myself stuck in hiding just to avoid the world. It sucks! Then, each morning when I wake up, I look in the mirror and voila! I'm back to the perfect me again. My symptoms disappear completely. At least I could try and forget about it at school, right? As I walked into class, I noticed everyone gathering around a new girl. Oh, she was sitting at my desk. Oh my god, Stella? Stella was my BFF back in 3rd grade, but one event changed everything. It happened on the day of our school's Cinderella play. We were happily walking to the auditorium when suddenly Stella collapsed and screamed. Panic washed over me. I helped her to a nearby bench. She was in so much pain she couldn't move another step. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to leave my friend, but the play was about to start and it was my first ever performance as lead. I can't let everyone down. I borrowed a lady's phone and left a voicemail message for Stella's parents to come pick her up, and then ran off to make it in time. The performance went amazingly and I'd become the star of the school. But deep down, all I could feel was worry for Stella. The next morning at school, I saw Stella sitting in a corner with her leg wrapped tightly in bandages. I rushed over to her, filled with worry and guilt, but she greeted me with cold silence. You chose that stupid play over me and left me behind. You're a terrible friend. I'll never forgive you. Stella never spoke to me after that. Then, a few months later, her family moved away and she transferred to another school. Now she was back and glaring at me with that same hateful look. I went and sat at a different desk and tried not to make eye contact with her. Brr, talk about frosty. I didn't blame her. Deep down, I still felt guilty about what happened too. I thought if I just stayed out of Stella's way, it would be okay. Wrong. Taking my desk was just the start. Next up, I walked into cheer practice to see Stella standing in my spot and showing the others her best cheer moves. I went over to Kim, the cheer captain, and said, is there a mistake? Stella's in my spot. No mistake. You missed the last 2 practices, so you're off the team. Stella has your spot now. What? This was so unfair! When I looked at the notice board, it said the practices were canceled. Thinking about it, Stella had been hovering around the notice board when I looked. She must have been behind this. Then, when I tried to arrange my study group, the students told me it was taking place that evening at 8:30 p.m. at Stella's house. I couldn't go to a study group that late. I'd never get home in time. I tried talking to Stella about this while she was sorting out her locker, but she just smirked at me. Get over it, Jasmine. I'll do what I want, just like you did. I was about to apologize for the past, but then I saw Marlon walking toward me. He was wearing a blue shirt that complemented his eyes, and he looked so dreamy. Stella, I'm sorry about... I know that look. You like Marlon, don't you? Well, I'm going to make him like me instead. I put up with Stella's vendetta, but this was crossing the line. Dragging Marlon into this mess was not fair. He didn't deserve this. I was so done letting her ruin my life. I needed to talk to Marlon and sort this out. I went up to him after a soccer practice, and he seemed happy to see me. We started talking, and then he asked me,
Jasmine, there's this new action movie out. Do you want to see it with me later?
Yes, but what time is it on?
Great, it's on at 8 p.m. I'll meet you there.
Is there an earlier showing? I can't be out at the time.
Stella was right. You never liked me. You just didn't want anyone else to have me.
I tried rushing after him to explain, but then I saw him talking to Stella by the school gates. I couldn't compete with someone who could stay out as late as they wanted. Taking my spot on the team wasn't enough. Stella even wanted to steal Marlon from me, but that still wasn't the worst part. The next morning, when I walked into class, I suddenly noticed strange looks being thrown my way. Those mocking, sneering expressions made me feel completely uncomfortable. I walked up to them and snatched the phone from a classmate's hand. What I saw left me completely stunned. It was a photo of a leg wearing an electronic ankle tag with a caption, "This is the real reason Jasmine never stays out after dark. She's a shoplifting criminal. Thief, give me my phone back." What? I'm not a thief. I was sure Stella was behind all of this. I wasn't going to put up with it any longer. So I decided to confront her and make everything clear. Why did you make up lies about me? What's wrong, Jasmine? Don't Mommy and Daddy let you stay out late? Yes. No, I can go out when I want. Prove it. Come to Kim's party later. But you better not steal anything. And the whole group started laughing out loud. I didn't have much of a choice. If I didn't go to Kim's party, then everyone would think the rumors were true. But if I did go and didn't leave in time, they would see the real me. I just had to make sure I left well before that happened. I arrived at the party at 8 p.m., figuring I just needed to show my face and then this would stop the rumors. I just couldn't relax and kept on looking at the time. The whole situation felt uncomfortable, and to make it worse, I needed the bathroom. But of course, there was a huge line. When I went to leave the bathroom, disaster. It was stuck shut. I started banging on the door and shouting for help, and then I heard a familiar voice. Seems the bathroom's out of order. Shame. Stella had locked me in there. I panicked. I couldn't have everyone see me in my monster form. I had to get out of there. I looked around for an option and saw the tiny window leading outside. Luckily, it was on the ground floor, but getting through it was a tight squeeze. I fell face first into a bush and was covered in brambles. I quickly got up and started running away, but my face swelled up. My skin turned itchy and I saw my greasy, gross hair. Ugh! It was 9 p.m. I was too late. I covered my face with my hands and ran out of there.
Jasmine, are you okay? Come back.
Luckily, it was dark, and the brambles were helping disguise my monster appearance. I kept on running, feeling terrible that this would make Marlon believe even more that I didn't like him. I ended up hiding under a bridge and messaged my dad to come pick me up.
Honey, you can't keep running from everyone like this. Don't you have friends you can confide in about your condition?
Dad was right. I couldn't go on living this way. I had to find a way to cope with my condition and handle Stella. As I sat in my room, itchy and resembling a giant blueberry, I decided it was time to tell Marlon the truth. If he really liked me, then he would accept me for me, monster side and all, right? Before I even knew what I was doing, I video called Marlon, ready to show him my true self. As he came into focus, I opened my mouth to speak. But wait, it wasn't Marlon, it was Stella! I reached for my giant bunny plushie at record speed and covered myself with it. Sorry, Jasmine. Marlon can't come to the phone right now. He's too busy with me. This was bad, really bad. I felt so down and depressed about everything. Was it true? Were they together now? I had built up so much courage to show him the real me, only to end up more humiliated and more alone than ever. Mom and Dad tried making me my favorite food and cheering me up, but nothing worked. In the end, they told me they had something important to tell me.
Jasmine, your symptoms only appear at night. Actually, they're side effects from the treatment.
The doctor said it was still experimental, but we agreed because we just wanted to save you. You're all liars! I felt so betrayed by them that I stormed out of the house, even though it was 10 p.m., and I looked like a monster. I'd walked 10 blocks when my anger faded and my panic set in. I needed to get home and hide before anyone I knew saw me. I saw our car slow down next to me and tried to walk quickly. The window rolled down, and to my horror, I saw Stella's smug face peering at me. Ew, you look gross. What's wrong with your face? Guess this is payback for leaving me on the side of the road so you could shine as Cinderella. Look at you now. You're an ugly stepsister. I fought back tears as I carried on walking. I didn't want to say anything to Stella. I just wanted to get home.
Get in, Jazz. Let's go somewhere we can talk in private.
When I glanced at Stella, she was scowling. Her face twisted with anger as she watched our car drive away. Marlon took me to this beautiful, secluded lake. Even though I looked like a mess, he sat beside me and listened as I opened up about everything. My condition, the reason I kept my distance, and the messy fallout with Stella that turned her against me.
Jasmine, you were a kid who made a tough choice. Stella has no right to treat you the way she does. I don't care if you look different at night. In my eyes, you're the prettiest girl I've ever seen.
Suddenly, he was leaning in closer to me and we kissed. Wow, it was magical. At that moment, I didn't feel like a monster. Instead, I felt like the most beautiful girl in the world.
Will you be my prom date?
Yes, I do! That was the first time I followed my heart. No more hiding behind insecurities about how I looked. I allowed myself to be brave, to do what I truly wanted. After saying goodbye to Marlon at the door, I walked in and saw my parents still waiting for me.
Do you have any idea how dangerous it is out there at night?
Sweetheart, we were so worried about you. I felt terrible for making them worry. I knew they made mistakes, but they did it with the best of intentions. We had a big family hug, and they promised they would do everything they could to help find a cure for my condition. The next day, as I walked through the hallway, I noticed Stella's sharp eyes aimed at me. Maybe Marlon noticed it too.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. From now on, I'm going to live without fear. I realized I had so many amazing things in my life. My parents, and now Marlon. Not even Stella's judging eyes could bother me anymore, because all I cared about now was the upcoming prom. On prom night, I planned to stay until the announcement and then leave. I wore the prettiest dress and showed up arm in arm with Marlon. People kept on coming up to us and telling us what a cute couple we made. Stella snorted and said freak under her breath, but Marlon steered me away from her and then kissed me on the cheek. Then, the announcement was made, and I heard my name being called. I couldn't believe it. Marlon and I were prom king and queen.
May I have the honor of inviting the queen of the night to the stage?
As I went up to the stage to get my crown, I heard people laughing and gasping in shock. I turned and saw it behind me, and my heart sank. There was a huge picture of me looking like a monster. Those are pictures Stella snapped of me that night, catching me at my worst. I bit my lip to hold back my tears as I spotted Stella watching me with that same smug expression. Not so perfect now, are you? I didn't think it could get any worse, but then I felt my face start to itch. I looked at my watch. Oh no! To my surprise, being crowned prom queen, I'd lost track of time. I wanted to run and hide, but Marlon stopped me.
You can get through this.
Marlon was right. I couldn't live in the dark forever. If I made it to this prom, then I'm going to face the doubts head on, no matter what they think of me. At the very least, I'm still me, and I'm strong enough to face it all. Hi. I know my appearance might shock all of you. Well, there's a reason I avoid night events and always go home early. I have a rare hormonal disorder that changes my appearance after dark. This symptom has made me feel ashamed for years. But now, it's time. Time for me to live for myself. To stop letting this illness control me. Right after my speech, the entire room fell silent. Then, one by one, everyone stood up, clapping and cheering for me, except Stella. What? Why can't you see how ugly she is? I should be prom queen, not her. She's a monster.
Stella, I know you were hurt by the past, but Jasmine never meant to upset you. She didn't want to let you down, but she didn't want to let everyone else down either. You are selfish and unkind. You are the real monster.
Stella stormed off. I couldn't help but smile as I looked at Marlon. He took my hand and led me to the dance floor. And you know what? I got so lost in his dreamy eyes that I didn't even feel the itchiness anymore. For the first time in a long while, I just felt happy. 2 months later, Marlon is now my official boyfriend. Turns out his uncle is a doctor and he's working really hard to try and find a cure for my condition. But honestly, cure or not, I'm happy. I have an amazing family and boyfriend who loves me just the way I am. Since that prom night, Stella has disappeared from my life. I did want to be her friend, but I guess there were things inside her she still couldn't let go. And me? I learned how to grow from my mistakes. I learned to love myself, even with the strange illness I live with every day.